Everybody, welcome to our Missing Person Monday live stream. I hope everybody is doing well tonight. I hope everybody has made it through the storms that have been going on the last couple of days, whether it be the winter storm side of it or the severe side of it. I hope everybody made it through. We here in Arkansas, Central Arkansas, we had about 5:30, 6 o'clock Sunday is when it came through here, and we had a tornado warnings popping off all around. So I was just kind of watching the weather and seeing what it was doing, but it passed fairly quickly. And luckily, there was one confirmed tornado, not anywhere close to where I am, but here in Arkansas. But anyway, we were lucky, a lot luckier than our neighbors to the east after it moved through here. So I just hope thoughts, prayers, good vibes to everybody who has been affected. So let me see who is here. Mustang is here. Always good to see you. True Crime Movement, which is Skitz's new channel, or it's not a new channel. She renamed her channel. She is here, or she checked in. So welcome. It is always good to see her. Patriotism, always good to see you. As far as here, good to see you, ma'am. Mark is here. Welcome. And I'm working out. Bear with me. I'm working off my phone screen tonight because my cell signal is sketchy as always. So I didn't even try to bring up StreamYard on the computer. So, but we will, as always, do the best with what we got going on here. Let me see. Miss Marion checked in. She says, hello, everyone. Thank you, Southern Gal, and all of you for all that you do for our families. I will share and watch again. I have the grandchildren tonight. Oh, enjoy those grandbabies, Miss Marion. And she says, justice for all. Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have Miss Marion check in. Let me see. Let me see. Miss Avery is here. Hello, my dear. How are you doing? Miss Stormy is here. Good to see you, ma'am. Just don't want to miss anybody. I've got to get some stronger glasses, some real glasses. Besides these cheaters. Miss Forrest says she will be back. She's got a break in the rain to walk the dogs. So apparently it's raining in Australia. Thank you, Mustang, for getting in everybody's links. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Do check out Stolen Spirits, MMIWG. They're on YouTube, they're on Facebook, and they do wonderful, wonderful work bringing awareness to missing and murdered Indigenous persons. So we always like to give them a shout out every time. Miss Avery says she'll also be back. She's got to walk the dogs. See, that's why, I mean, I love all animals, but I have cats. We have Tigger and the biscuit man. So, I mean, you know, they don't have to be walked. That's one thing I don't know. Cats are very low maintenance as long as you feed them and water them and give them a place to do their business and give them levies on their terms, and then they're happy. So, oh goodness. Let me see. Mark says, Sleuthy, that was a great live stream. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to be replay on Stormy's live stream that she did earlier about the two girls. I think it was in Florida. Something popped up on my notifications about that, and that is because Mark said he was creeped out about it. But yeah, just very horrible to begin with. But yeah, just the way they're acting in the back of that police car, I just what is wrong with people these days, just in general? I don't understand. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be replay on that because I want to see the whole story behind it. But yeah, they were just non-plus. They were just this was a big what they call it, a bonding moment they had. Oh God, it's just very scary, very scary. Yes, Stormy said, yeah, they were way too excited. I know, it was just like a game. Like it was a game to them. And I think they're planning to take out one of their classmates or something. Oh, like I said, I don't know. I try to keep my faith in humanity, but sometimes it's, and I believe, and this is the exception to the rule for the most part. I truly believe there are more good people out there than bad, but there is evil in this world, and it just so scary when it rears its ugly head. Welcome. Let's see if I can get this. DJ's allegedly, in my opinion, True Crime 1998. I'm just going to call you DJ. Welcome. That is the new name. It is good to have you here. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip you, Chris? I'm sorry. Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Chris. Always good to have you here, my friend. Miss PJ is here. Hello, my dear. Good to see you. I'm getting there. I'm getting caught up, and then we will get started. Tonight, we're going to be looking at missing persons cases from Chicago, Illinois, and I think I have 5 or 6. Which I think one is like a kind of a twofer. I'm not saying that flippantly, being disrespectful, but it's 2 sisters that went missing at the same time. So I'm going to feature both of them. We feature them for anybody new here. Welcome. I forgot to welcome everybody. Welcome to everybody in chat. Welcome to everybody lurking. Welcome to, if you're watching on replay, thank you so much. We love our replay crew. And if you are watching replay, please leave a comment down below to let me know that you are replay. And we feature mostly cold cases here. And I do during the week upload pre-recorded short videos for cold cases and newer cases. If we have any urgent, case, which they're all urgent, but I mean, as far as newly missing, I might try to get those posted as soon as possible, as soon as I find out about them. Let me see. Going back to these two, I think it was Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong. These two girls. Stormy says, I'm hoping to get more info after their next hearing in April. I'll definitely do another live stream on that story. Absolutely. I mean, are they mentally unstable? In my opinion, evidently they've got some kind of mental issues going on. Or is that just the way some kids are now that age? I don't understand. Something's going wrong somewhere, and and I don't know how we're going to figure it out. Yes, I think that has a lot to do with it. Stormy says it was very disturbing. The internet is raising children. I wholeheartedly agree. The internet can be used for good, but unfortunately, more and more it is being used as a babysitter. Kids spend way too much time on it, starting, in just my opinion, starting way too young, and it's just not healthy. Not healthy, in my opinion. There's some Doodle. Hello, my friend. Always good to have Miss Doodlebug here. You're very welcome. Thank you once again. Do all the things. It does help the algorithm, or so they say. I don't know, it's YouTube, so who knows what they do with their algorithm, but any little bit helps. Any little bit helps. Oh, Miss PJ's got the aliens and something else going on. Yeah, and I hated that I haven't seen Josh pop in. He may be busy, but Josh did his Sunday live stream was a decompression session talking about aliens, and that was when all the storms and the tornadoes were going on around here. So I didn't. I'm gonna have to be replay crew. I hated so much that I wasn't able to be there live, but I'm gonna go back and watch. I'm sure it was very interesting. What Doodlebug's talking about preparation H? What? Oh my goodness. Oh, let me see. Chris says unscripted. We can't see you. I can see you, PJ. I can see it. I can see it right there. Right there. Yeah, Stormy says, okay, I was correct for once. It was in Central Florida. There were high school students 15 and 14 years old. Oh my God. Scary. Hey, Miss Paula. Good to see you too. I can't remember if I hope I didn't skip over you earlier. Welcome, welcome. Chris says he is aware of the case and don't want to look at it all. Yeah, it's just from the little bit I've seen, it is very, very disturbing the way they're acting and what they were planning to do, apparently, allegedly. Yeah, PJ says I looked at it when it came out and I said, nope, not going there. I don't blame you. I don't blame you a bit. All right, I think I'm caught up, so we will get started. Get my slideshow up, and hopefully all of my articles are going to load. So once again, like I said, we're going to look at some missing persons cases from Chicago, Illinois. We've been just systematically going through the states, just picking a city from each state to feature missing persons from. And we were down to Illinois, and I just looked, Googled what city has the most missing persons in Illinois, which I figured would be the answer was Chicago, just for the amount of people that live in that area. But I did find some very interesting cases, so I wanted to share with you. I can't talk. Share them with you tonight, and have some discussion, bring some awareness, and don't let me forget. If we have time at the end, my computer is falling apart. Anyway, I watched the show, a show on ID channel last night. It's a new show. It was the first episode. Something about missing in Chicago or something to that effect. Anyway, it's a former a detective, a lady that was a cold case detective in Chicago, and she's on the show. And she looks at cold cases and works on cold cases. It kind of reminds me of that show was it called Cold Case? It was on Oxygen Network, where they had a couple of people that worked on cold cases and tried to, get new leads, new tips, figure things out. But anyways, the case they talked about last night was the Diamond Bynum and King Walker case from Gary, Indiana. And we have covered that or shared and talked about that case a lot. And there was some very, very interesting stuff that I had never heard that had come to light concerning what possibly could have happened to them, and some possible evidence that may be linked to the case that has been found. And I was going to look up and see if there's an article about it. But anyway, focus, my squirrel brain's going. But anyway, like I said, we have time at the end, remind me, and I'll see if I can find something about it. But it's very interesting because that's one case that is just, ever since I came across it or became aware of it. Yes, thank you. Cold Justice. Yeah, crazy Cold Justice. There was a fiction show called Cold Case on that I watched. It was like back in the 90s, early 2000s. Yes, Cold Justice. That's what I was thinking about. It's along that lines. Along the lines of that one, this new show. But yeah, so that King and Diamonds case is one that's kind of kept a hold of me since I became aware of it. And I would, just such a sad, horrible case. And anybody who's not, I also watch Cold Case Files. I love Cold Case Files. Yeah, so if you haven't heard that case, like I said, we've covered it or shared it here. You can just Google Diamond Bynum and King Walker, and you'll give you the basic information. Very sad, very perplexing, but I just found this new information. If it's true, just horrifying, very horrifying. But anyway, I digress. So we will get started. Chris says, if you want a Chicago case, look at the Indiana Dunes case. I will take a look at that. Thank you very much. All right. So first we have Yasmin Acree. Yasmin has been missing since January 15th of 2008 from Chicago. She's a Black female. She was just 15 years old when she went missing. She would be 33 years old as of 2026. When she went missing, she was 5'1" tall and 125 pounds, with sandy brown hair and brown eyes. She does wear glasses, and it says that she cannot see well without them, but the glasses were left behind. And many accounts spell her name as Yasmin with an E on the end of it. So Yasmin was last seen at her family's home on January 15th, 2008. That day, she went to the North Lawndale YMCA, where she was involved in sports and other activities. After she came home, she did a lot of laundry, and then she went to bed, and then she was gone by the next morning. It says that there were no indications of a break-in at the residence, but 2 locks on an outside fence and the lock on the basement door had been cut. And Yasmin's bedroom was in the basement. Her room appeared untouched. Nothing was taken. Not even her glasses. They were left behind. So her family has evidently criticized the police's investigation into her case. They claim that investigators assume that she was a runaway, and we hear this, unfortunately, a lot in these missing teen cases. And they also said that law enforcement failed to look into other possible causes of her disappearance. And authorities have admitted that they made serious errors at the onset of the investigation by not immediately dusting for fingerprints and not taking the broken lock from the basement door. So to me, I'm no expert. But yeah, if you found, let's see, the 2 locks on the outside fence, and a lock on the basement door where her bedroom was had been cut. You would think that they would just for prints and take the locks and do some kind of something, you know. So Yasmin, when she disappeared, she was a freshman at Austin Polytech Academy. She was about to start a new job, but she had no history of runaway behavior. She was born in Kentucky. She did have a troubled past. Her mother, who is now deceased, was an addict, and Yasmin and her older brother were removed from the home when they were toddlers. So Yasmin did spend several years in the Kentucky foster care system, which that's a whole other, sometimes horror story of its own. So apparently when she was in the foster care system, she said that she was SA'd. She developed severe emotional and behavioral problems. And then in 2001, Yasmin and her brother went to live with Rose Mae Starnes, who is their aunt by marriage. And she did end up adopting them in 2006. So the aunt Rose stated that she did love Yasmin, but she did have trouble dealing with her behavior problems, and that she says she occasionally disciplined her by whipping her with a belt or locking her in the basement. In 2007, when Yasmin's brother was 16 years old, apparently the aunt who had adopted them asked him to leave the home. I don't think it really gives any explanation as to why he was asked to leave the home, maybe behavioral problems or something that happened. So Yasmin was the only child living at the residence at that time that she disappeared. It says that she had been an excellent student in middle school, but when she started high school, she started getting poor grades. So now we get to maybe possible suspects or persons of interest, possible. So a man by the name of Jimmy Terrell Smith and his father lived in the second floor apartment in Yasmin's building at the time of her disappearance. So Jimmy's father was friends with Rose, the aunt. And Smith moved into the building in 2005 after he was paroled from prison where he had been serving a sentence for attempted homicide. So following his release, he was arrested 6 times. He did admit that he was always armed and he sold substances near the apartment building where they lived. He reportedly took an interest in Yasmin, and she did mention him twice in her diary. So Rose, the aunt, did not tell the police that this Jimmy Terrell Smith was living in the building until 2009 when he was arrested for essaying 5 females, including 2 14-year-old girls that he allegedly kidnapped. And in a press interview from jail, Smith said that he did know what happened to Yasmin and that he was responsible for 4 homicides that he had not been charged with. So that in itself is terrifying. I mean, who knows? He could have possibly many victims out there that police don't know about. But it does say that this information has not been confirmed. But still, just even the slight possibility that it could be true, like I said, is just terrifying. So Rose, the aunt who had adopted them, did pass away of natural causes in 2014. Yasmin's case remains unsolved. Foul play is suspected, unfortunately. So if you do have any information, you can call the Chicago PD at 312-746-8365. And I think hopefully it will load. I was able to find an article. Oh, it did load. It came right up. Yay. So this article is from January of 2020. Yasmin Acree missing 12 years. Family still searching for answers in her disappearance. And it's from abc7chicago.com. As always, all the links to the online sources that I use are in the description box. So feel free to read them at your leisure, share them, do whatever you want to with them. So it says 12 years after her disappearance, the family of Yasmin Acree is still searching for answers. Yasmin's brother DeMarcus says, quote, "We've never stopped looking. We've always had hopes they would find answers," end quote. The teen's brother and oldest sister spoke with ABC7 by phone from California, where they live. It was 12 years ago that Acree disappeared from her West Side home in the 4800 block of West Congress Parkway. Acree, a 15-year-old honor student, went missing on January 15, 2008, while living with her now deceased adoptive mother, who was also her aunt by marriage. And some relatives say they believe that Yasmin was abducted. Reverend Ira Acree, who is a relative of Yasmin, said, quote, "I am a man of faith, but I know God is a miracle worker, but if she is alive today, it would be a miracle," end quote. The family remains critical of the investigation by Chicago police, which initially looked into the teen's disappearance as a runaway, possibly causing the mishandling of fingerprints and other evidence at the scene. But Sean Acree, who is Yasmin's sister, says, quote, "But I know there was a lot of ball dropping, neglectful acts on the parts of my aunt and the police," end quote. Despite few leads, a CPD spokesperson says the case is still in progress. And at the time that this article was written, it said that a $10,000 reward in exchange for information still stands, as does the commitment to learning the truth. DeMarcus Acree said, quote, "There's really been no closure on our end as far as understanding what happened or knowing her last thoughts or her whereabouts," end quote. So I don't know. My biggest question is why, or my biggest question is obviously what happened. And why didn't they do any kind of fingerprint, just for fingerprints, take those broken locks? I don't understand it. I don't understand that part. Anyway, let me see if I had anything else. She is listed on the Doe Network, and I think it did mention something because this Jimmy, I forgot his name now, the Jimmy Smith, whatever his name was. Yasmin had mentioned her twice in her diary, and I think there was something in here. I'm just going to read it. It says the family believes someone. So her room was in the basement where she was last seen doing a load of laundry. The family believes that someone entered the home and abducted Yasmin. A lock was discovered broken on a normally secured outside gate. So that tells me even more, because I thought, well, maybe the locks on the gate were already broken, but it said it was a normally secured gate. And the basement door was forced open. Yasmin's room was left undisturbed. Where is it where it talks? Okay. So in 2011, a newspaper investigation revealed that a man who lived in the apartment above Yasmin admitted to knowing what happened to her. The man moved into the same two flat as Yasmin after serving 10 years in prison for attempted homicide. This man had shown an interest in Yasmin and had contact with her after he moved out. A diary found in Yasmin's bedroom after her disappearance mentioned the man twice. So in 2017, he was sentenced to 110 years in prison for kidnapping and essaying 2 girls and 2 young women in 2009. So I wonder if, since they, once again, not downing law enforcement, but we do call them out when people need to be called out. I just question, did they look at this diary and read what apparently somebody did. Did they read what was written in the diary about this man, Jimmy Smith, or whatever his last name was? It would be good information to know. I mean, not for us to know, but for them to know what she said about him. Did she say that he had done anything to her, or what? good information to have. Like I said, good information. All right, let me check your comments right quick. Get back down to where I was at. Hold on. There we are. Chris says, can we talk about the Tylenol and the livings if we have time tonight? I think we've talked about them before. We talked about them in a live stream. It hasn't been too long ago, but at some point, yeah, we can talk about them again. Mustang says she was just watching something about that. Yeah. Yeah, it's been not too long ago that we kind of mentioned it when we were talking about something else, and that came up. I think maybe the conspiracy, when we did the last mysteries and conspiracies, I think somebody brought it up. We were talking about it, and I brought it up on, I think, Wikipedia. And oh yeah, I understand. Chris says that's one case that upsets me. Absolutely. Paula wants to know any suspects. None that have been named publicly. Now I have questions about this. Let me go back and get his name correct. Jimmy Terrell Smith and the father, but mostly Jimmy Terrell Smith, because he was the one that had been paroled from prison. He had been paroled from prison for attempted homicide, and then following his release, he was arrested 6 times, and then he was arrested for essaying the 5 females, including 2 14-year-old girls. So yeah, I have questions about him. I mean, I'm not saying he had anything to do with it, but I mean, just being he was in close proximity to her. He admitted to having contact with her after he moved out of the apartment duplex, whatever it was. She talked about him in the diary. He apparently allegedly said that he knew what happened to Yasmin, and that he said that he was responsible for 4 homicides that he hadn't been charged with. Although once again, this information has not been confirmed. I mean, I have questions about him. Absolutely. Hey, Ms. Z, good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Trial Junkies United, please do check them out. Absolutely fantastic channel, one of our favorites around here. And they usually do live stream on Thursday nights and Sunday nights. They didn't do one last night, I think, because Ms. Z had a migraine, which God bless you. Migraines are horrible. So I hope you're feeling better. I hope Doc is doing well. I hope Moo the cat is doing well. It is always good to see you here. Yes, it is absolutely nice seeing everyone tonight. Yeah, patriotism says absolutely prayers for the missing's families. Absolutely. Let me see. Avery says, why do these faces always look familiar? I don't know. And I think we might have talked about Yasmin's case before. Just, I don't know. We've done so many of these missing person Monday live streams now that I may be duplicating some, but you can never share them too much. You can never share them too much, because that's what I thought with this one. Is that she looks awful familiar. Or maybe it's just because, and I'm a guess maybe looking familiar could be a good thing in a way, because that means her face is still out there. Maybe people are sharing her face, missing persons flyers, sharing the details of her disappearance to keep her name out there. That is always the most important thing that we can all do is share. Ooh, I forgot to turn the heat down. We turned it up earlier because it was cold in here. And And as I'm saying this, Patriotism says, I'm just wishing it would warm up. Yeah, it was cold here today. I didn't get out and work today because it was like only in the mid 40s, and then wind chill was only mid 30s. I'm like, nope, I'm not going out and schlepping groceries in the cold. So I'm going to go back tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit warmer tomorrow. But then the rest of the week, it's supposed to get back up in the 70s and 80s. Chris says he doesn't trust the Chicago PD. Well, I think in this case they got a little bit of explaining to do with not just my opinion, with not dusting for fingerprints, not taking these locks, busted locks, not. I don't know. Questions. I have questions. Ms. Z would say I have questions. That is good to hear. Ms. Z says the migraine is better. That is great to hear, ma'am. Oh, she also says the Doc is great as well, and Moo slept with me all day. Yeah, my cat, Tigger and Biscuit, like I said, I was home all day today, and they were so clingy. And then when I got home from work, I think it was Saturday, they were clingy. I mean, they were just, as soon as I walked in the door, I couldn't even get anything done. I had to sit down, and they were both, I think I posted a picture to my members only on my community tab. They were both on my lap, just giving each other a stare down. They're just so jealous, so jealous. You gotta love them. Gotta love them. No, I didn't. Patriotism said, did you send us the snow? If so, you can have it back. No, did not send you the snow this time. Yeah, it was snowing because I was watching Weather Channel a lot yesterday. Just when it got past here, or today, I was watching actually last night and today to see what's going on east of us when it got past us. And they had there was like snow in Alabama. There was like a big thing of snow right behind all the storms. So it was just crazy. I don't know. The weather's getting weird. It's weird. Mustang, yeah, Mustang's up in. Did you get any snow? Mustang's up in Northwest Arkansas. She says it's below freezing here right now. Yeah, I don't know what it is here. Let me see if I can see without messing anything up. No, I can't see. I know it's cold. Oh goodness, yeah. Crazy weather. Okay, let me see who we got next. Next, we have, this should be Garren Rudolph Beller. Mustang says, no snow, but a little sleet. Ugh. I think I'd rather have snow than sleet. All right, so this is Garren Rudolph Beller. He's been missing since November 19th, 2009 from Chicago. He is a white male. He was 38 years old when he went missing. He'll be 54 years old as of 2026. When he went missing, he was 5'6" tall, and between 160 and 200 pounds. Excuse me, with brown hair and brown hazel eyes. He does have a tattoo on his back. He has a tattoo of a scorpion on his right shoulder. He has a 1/2-inch scar on the bridge of his nose. His ears and nipples are pierced. His hair was shoulder length at the time of his disappearance, and he did wear it in a ponytail. Now, Charley Project did have several pictures, but they did not have really a good picture of him with the shoulder length hair in the ponytail. So, because I usually try to put use the picture of what they most closely look like when they disappeared. But anyway, so the only clothing jewelry description they give is apparently he was wearing a 1/4 carat diamond earring in his left ear. So he lived in the 400 block of Liberty Street in Ashland, Oregon in 2009. In November of that year, he went to visit his family and friends in Illinois. He was last seen at Union Station in Chicago on November 19th. Apparently that he was dropped off there and he was supposed to take an Amtrak train to Portland, Oregon. And his scheduled arrival was supposed to be November 21st. So Beller, he never made it to Oregon or back to Oregon. His roommate reported him missing on November 24th, and subsequent investigation showed that he had never boarded his train back to Oregon. So at the time he went missing, he was self-employed in the construction field. His case is considered suspicious, and Indiana and Oregon police are investigating. So I don't know why Indiana, let me go reread, why Indiana and Oregon police are investigating, because it says he lived in Ashland, Oregon. He was dropped off at a Union Station, I can't talk. Union Station in Chicago. And then he was supposed to take an Amtrak back to Portland. So I don't know why Indiana is involved, but at any rate, if you do have any information, you can call the Ashland, Oregon Police Department at 541-552-2172 or the Porter County Sheriff's Department at 219-477-3136. Let me see if I was able to find anything. Don't think I was able to find a lot on him. He is listed on the Doe Network. Let's see if it had anything additional. Just says, so we went over that. It says he was dropped off at the Chicago train station on November 19th to take an Amtrak train to Portland. He never used his ticket. He never arrived home after his trip. Did it mention this in the Charley Project? On November 23rd, excuse me, the Lake Eliza home where he had been staying at exploded and burned. So the cause has not been determined, and nobody was found to be inside the home at the time of the incident. Let me go back and see. I don't think it mentioned that in the Charley Project information. One second. Now the house exploding and burning could have absolutely nothing to do with his disappearance. No, but did not mention that in the Charley Project information. Let me go back to Doe Network. Oh, wrong one. Got too many tabs. Okay, so Garren is described as a very communicative person. It is unusual for him to go this long without talking to friends and family. He hasn't used a credit card or his cell phone since his disappearance. Once again, it says his case is being investigated by the Ashland, Oregon Police Department and the Porter County, Indiana Sheriff's Department. So I still am confused about Indiana, but anyway, unless they could think he's somewhere between, somewhere in that area. And I think he did have a thread on Web Sleuths. Let's see if there's anything that I found additional. If it will come up. What are y'all laughing at? You are laughing at something. PJ wants to ride a bike. What? Oh, patriotism, please take it back. I'm telling you, we didn't have snow here in Arkansas this weekend when we just had the storms. We didn't have any snow. PJ said she wants to ride her bike. PJ said you should hear me say Oregon. I know. I don't know what did I say? Oregon. Oh, goodness. I think PJ said Doodle laughs at me. I think Doodle laughs at everybody. Oh. Okay. Finally loaded. Good Lord. Okay, why? Okay, tell me, Chris. Chris says, I understand why Indiana is involved in Garren's case. Why are they involved? Please let me know. All right, so let me see. So his web sleuth thread, I'm just going to read some of the things that people posted. That says gas explosion completely unrelated to Garren. Just poor luck for the guy that owned the house. Let's see. Okay, so someone posted in December 2009. He or she said, I'm from Ashland and have known Garren since I was about 8 years old. My parents employed him for years, starting when he was in his early 20s. This is very uncharacteristic of Garren and has left plenty of us very worried. Here are some bits of info I feel are important to share. So once again, on Web Sleuth, you do have to be verified if you're not law enforcement or some credited source. You do have to be verified before you can state anything as fact on the case. So apparently this is showing up. So it was they were verified. Now once again, I don't know what Web Sleuth's verification process is, but at any rate, so it says Garren was roommates in Ashland with his cousin Ryan. Still confirming whether they were still living together when Garren left for the Midwest. Apparently, Garren sold his car to Ryan's brother, Tony. I'm not giving any last names because, once again, we don't know if any of these people are involved. A man named Mike was released from jail in January and moved in with Garren and Ryan. Apparently, there was some kind of falling out, and Garren kicked Mike out. Mike returned to Indiana. So maybe this is where the Indiana part comes in, and rented a home there. Oh, so Indiana. Oh, I got it now. I'm putting the pieces together. So Indiana is where this home exploded. So this Mike had returned to Indiana, rented a home there, which has been reported as blowing up on November 24th, one day prior to Garren being reported as missing. All right, so now it's starting to make a little bit more sense to me. It appears, according to this person, that Garren was visiting Mike in Lake Eliza, Indiana, which is a short distance from Chicago. And Ryan may or may not have been there. He reportedly met up with Ryan at some point and has not been seen or heard from since. Ryan returned to Ashland. He packed up a moving van and said that he was leaving for his grandmother's place on November 26th or 27th. He has not been seen or heard from since then. Per Porter County PD, where the house burned down, the police are in contact with Mike. Back when this happened, they were in contact with Mike and they were trying to gather any and all information that he may have been able to provide. And this person says, please, if anyone has any information regarding this case, please pass it along, post it online, call the police, do something to help spread the word. We need to find out what happened and how we can bring Garren home. Absolutely. Yeah, so that is, if this is true, like once again, it's coming from a verified, Web Sleuth verified source, but if it is correct and true, that's a little concerning. They said that who was it, Mike, the one that the house blew up, that Garren was supposedly going to visit in Lake Eliza. The house exploded one day before Garren was reported missing, and then this Mike packed up and moved. Returned to Ashland, packed a van, and said that he was leaving for his grandmother's place. This was around November 26th or 27th, and after that, he has not been seen or heard from since. So yeah, a little concerning. I have questions about that. So there's just somebody posted a little snippet of a news article about the house explosion. It says the home had been torn down by Monday afternoon after it exploded. According to a neighbor, it was just a pile of burnt wood. The house is owned by a lady named Cynthia. It was rented to this Mike, who was not at home during the fire. According to the police report, no one was injured. And then a snippet from another article, another neighbor told police that he had smelled natural gas Saturday in the corner of his yard near where the house occurred. So it could have just been like a natural gas explosion. Police contacted Mike, and he stated that he was out of town and nobody was inside the home. And he told police that he had no idea why the house would catch fire. So there's a difference between a house catching fire and a house exploding. So in some articles it says it exploded, some that it caught fire. But if it would have been a natural gas, that most definitely 9 times out of 10 that's going to be an explosion. Let me see. So somebody asked, did Ellie bring in, I get maybe cadaver dolls are brought in. Somebody posted, did Ellie bring in the cadaver dolls because they initially couldn't find Mike? I guess I'm trying to figure out why Ellie would bring in cadaver dogs if they don't suspect foul play. Okay, I'm just seeing if there's anything that we haven't already went over. They said the cause of the fire and or explosion has not been determined, and nobody was found to be inside the house. Yeah, so it's just talking about the nothing really that we haven't already went over. There's talking about some people that could or might not be involved, so we're not going to get into that. All right, I think that was all I have. But yeah, very interesting about the possibly having this falling out with the roommate and this Mike fella. Just I have questions. Once again, I have questions. All right. So let me get the next one loading while I get caught up in your comments again. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Chris said the reason why is the area code 219 is Porter County, Indiana, and it's close to Chicago. Yeah, and also where this mysterious house exploded, or mysterious, or maybe not so mysterious. I mean, it could be anything. Hey, Butterfly Kisses, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. All right. So next, if I can get, so next we have two sisters that went missing. So I want to feature them both, obviously. Tionda Bradley and her younger sister Diamond. So first I'll give you their both of their vitals, and then just read the information of their disappearance is the same, obviously. Tionda was the older sister. She was 10 years old when they went missing. They went missing on August 6, 2001. She's a Black female. Once again, 10 years old when she went missing. She'll be 35 years old as of 2026. When she went missing, she was 4'2" tall, 70 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. She has a quarter-size burn scar on her left forearm. She had a scrape on her left calf. At the time of her disappearance, it says that she normally wears her hair in long ponytails. The only known clothing description was just green ponytail holders in her hair. So that is Tionda, which is on the very left-hand side of the slide. And then we have Diamond. She was only, let me get it to load. She was younger. Come on. So Diamond was only 3 years old. 3 years old. 3 years old at the time they went missing. She'll be 28 years old as of 2026. She was 3 feet tall, 40 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. She has a scar on the left side of her hairline. Said that she normally wears her hair braided in the back with 4 ponytails. It says that she has deep set eyes. The only known clothing jewelry description is violet and purple ponytail holders in her hair. All right, so the circumstances, both of the girls are last seen at their residence in the 3500 block of South Lake Park Avenue in Chicago on July 6, 2001. Her mother, or their mother, departed for work at approximately 6:30 a.m. So Tionda and Diamond stayed at the house during the morning, and then their mother, Tracy, discovered that the girls were not inside the residence when she returned home at approximately 11 a.m. So about 4.5 hours time. So Tionda, the older girl, apparently had left a note stating that she and Diamond had planned to walk to a nearby school and store. Tionda was enrolled in summer classes at Doolittle Elementary School at the time. The school officials said that she was absent the day that the girls disappeared. Excuse me. Several neighborhood children told authorities that they saw the girls playing outside of their residence at approximately 12 p.m., which that wouldn't make any sense, because it said the mom returned home at around 11 she left at 6:30 a.m. She returned at 11 a.m. and that's when she discovered that the girls were not there. But then they said the friends, neighborhood children, said that they saw Tionda and Diamond playing outside of their residence at approximately 12 p.m. So I don't know about that. So neither of the girls have been heard from again. An extensive search of the surrounding areas produced no clues as to their whereabouts. Tionda is described as having a shy nature when dealing with strangers. Her hobbies include running, track, and dancing. Said that she uses the term girl often and pronounces bye-bye as baby bye. Authorities said that Tracy, which is the mother, was not cooperating with investigators in relation to the case. And apparently she shoved a police officer who requested that she accompany him to the precinct to discuss new leads. And this was in March of 2002. So Tracy was placed in handcuffs. She was taken to the station where she briefly spoke with investigators, and then her attorney arrived shortly thereafter and stopped the interview. So that's very, very concerning. I have questions about why she would not be, why she wouldn't be cooperating. So authorities said that Tracy missed several scheduled appointments with detectives in the past. Tracy's spiritual advisor told media that officers had violated her rights by forcibly taking her to the precinct. Well, no, just if you shove a police officer, you're going to get taken to the precinct in handcuffs. That's just no way around it. I mean, you can't do that. it says that Tracy is not being called a suspect in her daughter's disappearances. So her mother voluntarily Tracy did voluntarily take a polygraph exam shortly after the girls disappeared as a matter of cooperation. It doesn't say if she failed, passed, whatever. Once again, she is not being called a suspect. Authorities are interviewing most of the girls' relatives and friends once again as the investigation continues. They searched the children's great-grandfather's Wisconsin home. Now, they found no evidence, but that's interesting. Some investigators theorized that Diamond and Tionda were taken by a North African man who had paid child support for one of them until the summer of 2001, when he learned that he was not her father. FBI agents did go to Morocco to investigate the lead, but did not find any evidence that either of the girls had been there. Police believe that Tionda would have contacted her loved ones by now if she could have. They do think that both children are either deceased or have been taken out of the country. And obviously the case is unsolved. So if you do have any information, you can contact the Chicago PD at 312-745-6007 or the FBI Chicago office at 312-431-1333. Very odd. I would like to know more about this a man that was paying child support until he found out that he was not the father. But they said they did go to Morocco and investigate. No sign that either of the girls had been there. I'm also interested in why they would go to, let me find it, search or this property. Was it the great-grandfather in Wisconsin? They searched the children's great-grandfather's Wisconsin home, but found no evidence. Interesting. Okay, let me see what I got. Okay, so they did do age progression photos. I forgot to put them in the slideshow, but I did. I think I remembered to upload. I can do it as an overlay. So let me find it. Go back down. There it is. And I do have an article that goes with it. It might take it a minute for it to come up, but these are the age progressed photos. And once again, when the article comes up, I'll tell you what the age progression is too. Oh my goodness. Come on. Let me check your comments while it's loading. Hey, Junior Johnson, good to see you, sir. Hello from Michigan, he says. I hope you're doing okay, Junior. Always good to see Junior. There's Miss Peggy. Welcome, ma'am. She says, hey, everyone, lurking a little busy. That is perfectly fine. We are always glad to have you here. Hey, unindicted co-conspirator, always good to see you. They said, thanks for keeping me company while cleaning this disaster of a kitchen. Well, I'm glad I can be of some use. It's good to see you. Always good to see you. That's Miss Paula talking about Tracy, the mother of Tionda and Diamond, how she had showed the police officer. Miss Paula says, what happens if the cop pushes first? That's that's a loaded question. I mean, cops shouldn't, they shouldn't put, in my opinion, they shouldn't push first. I mean, that's, I'm not an expert on excessive force, but I mean, every situation is different, To me, it would be a little bit different if the cop pushed first and didn't have a good reason. I mean, if as in if a person's not charging at them or threatening them in some way. But anyway, but apparently she shoved the police officer, and like I said earlier, if you shove a police officer, you're going to get handcuffed and taken down to the station. Yep. Once again, come on, there we go. Okay, so the article came up finally. So this is from Fox32Chicago.com. It is from July 2025. New age progressed photos revealed of 24 years missing Bradley sisters. So it's been 24 years since the disappearance of Diamond and Tionda Bradley. Excuse me. The two sisters have been missing since July 6, 2001. From Chicago, they were last seen near 3526 South Lake Park Avenue. According to their mother, once again, a note written by Tionda said that the girls were going to the store and to the school playground. Police did an extensive search of the area and neighborhood, but found nothing. New photos reveal what the girls would look like all of these years later. So Diamond is age progressed, so she's the older one. She is age progressed to 23, so she's the one on the left-hand side of the slide. And Tionda is age progressed to, no. So Diamond, I can't hardly see the slide. Yeah. Tionda is on the left-hand side of the slide. She's age progressed to 30. And then Diamond is on the right-hand side of the slide. She is age progressed to 23. And so once again, Diamond was just 3 years old and Tionda was just 10. Once again, Tionda is reported to have a quarter-size scar on her left arm. Diamond is reported to have a scar on the left side of her head in her hairline. Once again, their mother, Tracy, told police that she last saw the girls at around 6:30 a.m. when she left for work. And so this article says she returned home around 1 p.m. So Charley Project, once again, we know Charley Project information can be a little sketch. So that would make more sense if she didn't return home until 1 p.m. and the neighborhood, some of the kids in the neighborhood say that they saw the girls outside playing at 12 p.m. That would make more sense, as opposed to if the mother had returned at 11 a.m. So maybe this is the more correct time frame. So their disappearance did spark a massive search. Hundreds of Chicago police, federal law enforcement officers, and civilian volunteers spent days checking sewers, lagoons, abandoned buildings, and factories. They also interviewed nearly 100 registered SOs living in the area. Shalia Bradley Smith, who is the girl's great aunt, said, quote, "To have to wait in limbo like this, nobody said nothing, nobody's been prosecuted, nobody's in jail, but the girls are still gone," end quote. April Jackson, who is the girl's aunt, said, quote, "It is hard to go through life knowing that you have loved ones out there that you have no idea where they are," end quote. So the family believes that there are primary suspects, one, possibly two family members who had access to the girls the day that they vanished. So I wonder if this has anything to do with the searching of the great-grandfather's home in Wisconsin. P. Foster, who's a private investigator who's been working with the family since the girls disappeared, said, quote, "There was a planned trip for these children to go on a camping trip. That camping trip is all fraudulent. That camping trip never manifested," end quote. So that's another layer of... So April Jackson says the girls have been taught to be suspicious of strangers. She said, quote, "We know stranger danger is just embedded into our heads. So that being said, it would have had to be somebody who is very trustworthy, someone that she really trusts, end quote. And I'm assuming she's referring to Tionda, because I think it said that Tionda was very quiet and wary of strangers. Sorry, the cats are running amok out there. So it goes on to say, but because there are no bodies and the evidence is circumstantial, the family believes police and prosecutors are reluctant to file charges. So Foster, the private investigator, said, quote, so we are looking for that next small piece, and I do believe somebody out there has that information, end quote. Chicago police say that the investigation remains open, telling Fox 32 in a statement, a quote, Area 1 detectives have and will continue to follow up when tips are received. At this juncture, there are no new leads, end quote. So once again, anyone with information should call the Chicago PD at 312-745-5020 or the FBI Chicago office at 312-421-6700. So that's very interesting about one, they said one, and this is coming from family, one, possibly two members of family that they're suspicious of that had it. They said they had access to the girls on that day, and about this, what the private investigator said about this camping trip that was planned that was fraudulent, that never came about. That's I don't know about that. I have questions. Once again, I have questions. So yeah, in my opinion, just with what they said about the girl, or at least Tionda, being very wary of strangers, in my opinion, like they said, it would mean it had to be somebody who was very trustworthy, or somebody that they knew, that she knew. Once again, that's just my unprofessional opinion. My God, the cats are, I don't know what they're doing out there, but anyway. But anyway, as always, let me know what you guys think in the chat, or leave a comment if you're watching replay. I think that is all that I had. I'll get the next article loaded while let me see. I lost my place once again. Yes, absolutely love seeing everybody here. PJ says she knows this case. Yep, it was familiar to me too. I said I'm always looking and browsing and reading about cases. So sorry, the straw was loud there. So I've always got all these names and faces in my head that are, I'm like, yeah, I've looked at this before. Yeah. Let me see. Chris said he wasn't familiar with it. Alrighty. So next, let me get it. Oh, come on. Oh, I've got it. Hold on. I forgot how to take that down. Oh, I went too far. Hold on. This should be Craig Allen Connor. So Craig, I'm losing all my stuff here. Besides my mind. So Craig has been missing since October 18th, 1975. So this is probably our oldest case, from Chicago. He is a white male. He was just 23 years old when he went missing. He was 6 feet tall, 170 to 200 pounds, with brown hair and blue eyes. It says that he has a dark colored mole under his left ear. No less known clothing description. There is not a whole lot of information on his case. But he, once again, was last seen on October 18th, 1975. He was a former student at the University of Arizona, and he had traveled to Chicago and enrolled in the Chicago Conservatory of Music, where he was studying voice and piano. So he lived in an apartment in the 700 block of Berry Avenue in the Newtown area with his piano instructor. So according to his loved ones, he was having financial problems, and they say he may have gotten involved in sex work. He frequented the 900 block of North LaSalle. So when he disappeared, he left all of his belongings behind at his apartment, including his briefcase and his pet dove. His jacket was missing. So his jacket was missing, but it was later returned to the apartment by the piano instructor that he was living with. So when the instructor returned the jacket, it had a receipt in the pocket dated October 20th, which was 2 days after Connor was last seen. So red flags, in my opinion. So Connor's family obviously does not believe that he left of his own accord. He never picked up his diploma from the conservatory, and he also missed a job interview that he had lined up in Colorado in November of that year. He had planned to fly to New Mexico to visit his family and then drive up to Colorado for the interview and then return to Chicago. And he never used the plane ticket that he had purchased. So some of Connor's loved ones theorized that his piano instructor was involved in his disappearance. So this man reportedly, quote, went ballistic when he found out that Connor had started secretly taking lessons from another pianist. The piano instructor said that he had no idea what happened to Connor. He apparently passed away of cancer in 1978. He was never charged in Connor's case. In 1981, this Chicago Conservatory of Music closed due to financial problems. Little evidence is available as to Connor's fate. His case remains unsolved, and both Illinois and Texas police are investigating. So now we have Texas involved. I must have missed something somewhere again, because it said he was going to. Let me find it. So he was going to this Colorado in November. He planned to fly to New Mexico to visit a family, drive up to Colorado, and then return to Chicago. He never used a plane ticket. But somehow Texas police are involved. Anyway, so if you do have any information, you can contact the Cook County, Illinois Sheriff's Office at 708-865-6244, or the Comal County, Texas Sheriff's Office at 830-620-3400. Let me see. If I don't think I was able, he is listed on the Doe Network. So Mr. Connor disappeared once again from the Chicago area while teaching piano at Chicago Conservatory College. He had recently graduated from the Chicago Conservatory College of Music. He had recently won the 1973 Conservatory Piano Competition of Chicago. He received an honorable mention in the 1974 Conservatory Composition Contest for his trio sonata for violin, clarinet, and bassoon. He was soon going to become a music director at the Tabor Church of Chicago. He had been serving as musical director and pianist for the Columbia School of Theater, which is now the Columbia College. Once again, the Chicago Conservatory College closed in 1991. Mr. Connor, a talented pianist and composer originally from the Santa Fe, Los Alamos, New Mexico area, also taught piano to local children while studying at Los Alamos High School. He would come back to Santa Fe during the holidays and summer breaks to give concerts and work on commission pieces. And it also says Texas authorities are investigating this case. So maybe it's due to him living or formerly living in New Mexico. It could have something to do with that. So that is about all the information that we have on Connor, or Craig, excuse me. Let me see. PJ's multitasking. I hope you do a better job of multitasking than I do. Oh, goodness. Let me see. Yeah, Miss Paula says red flag. Yeah, see, especially when it said that the music or the piano instructor that he was living with, so the jacket disappeared, and then it was brought back by the piano instructor that he was living with. But when the police looked through it, they found a receipt in the jacket pocket from 2 days after Craig disappeared. So yeah, that's how does that happen? How does that happen? You know, and where? Okay, so if it was completely innocent that the piano instructor just found it somewhere, where did he find it at? I mean, it's possible that when Craig disappeared, he was still alive 2 days later, had a receipt, bought whatever, stuck the receipt in his pocket. But then how did the piano instructor end up with the jacket? Just a little red flaggy to me. Anyway. All right, so I think we have one more. And I know we've talked about this one before in live streams, but it's still not solved. So and it's a case once again when I came across this one that's got a hold of me. And make sure I didn't miss anything here. Just getting caught up real quick. As far as back, apparently she got through walking the doggies. Welcome back, Far. Okay, so this next one is Kierra Coles. And I'm sure most of us have probably heard about this one. Like I said, we have, I think I've done a video on her. We talked about her in live streams. But like I said, you can never share it too much. 2018, still not, no arrests, no convictions, nothing. She has neither been found neither alive or deceased. She was pregnant at the time she disappeared. So she went missing or was last seen on October 2nd, 2018 in Chicago. She's a black female. She was just 26 years old. When she went missing, she'll be 33 years old as of 2026. At the time she went missing, she was 5'4" tall, 125 pounds. Sorry, stuff is popping up. With black hair and brown eyes. Her ears are pierced. She has the following tattoos. She has a heart on her left hand, the phrase Lucky Libra on her back, a jaguar's head on the back of her shoulder, words including the phrase Love My in the design on her chest, and words on her wrist. Her last known clothing was a U.S. Postal Service uniform. Obviously, she did work for the U.S. Postal Service. She was 12 weeks pregnant at the time of her disappearance, and it says that she did also suffer from asthma. So Kierra was last seen in the Chatham neighborhood of Chicago on October 2nd, 2018. She never arrived at the post office where she worked as a city carrier assistant. And she had actually called in sick that day, and she has never been seen or heard from again. Her car was found parked on the block where she lived, Her purse, cell phone, prenatal vitamins, and lunch bag were still inside the car. It is uncharacteristic of her to go without contacting her family or using her social media accounts. Cole's family stated that she was excited about her pregnancy. She was looking forward to the birth of the baby, which is her first. She had moved to her apartment just a few months earlier. She had also just bought this new car. The father of her child is Joshua Simmons, which was her boyfriend of 5 years. But he apparently had another partner, and they have children. And this other partner was also pregnant when Kierra disappeared. So he got around. So police stated that they, quote, had, quote, a pretty good idea of what transpired, and that they believe that Kierra unfortunately did meet with foul play. They do have multiple persons of interest in her case, and it remains unsolved. So if you do have any information, you can call the Chicago PD at 312-747-5789, or the U.S. Postal Inspection Service at 877-876-2455. I think I was able to find a... Okay, so first I have an article when they did find some new clues. It was some video footage of this boyfriend, I believe, at the ATM, or her at the ATM, or both. So this, don't throw me behind a paywall. Okay, so this article is from July 2022. New clue, and it's from NBCChicago.com. New clues in the case of missing pregnant postal worker Kierra Coles. So, homicide detective Lieutenant Will Silvar has studied every minute of the day that 26-year-old Kierra Coles was last seen. He agreed to speak to NBC5 Investigates for the first time about Coles' activities before she disappeared, as well as new details that have emerged in the case. Detective Silvar said, quote, "She's living a great life. She's going to have a baby. She's gainfully employed. She's an upstanding citizen who is living a nice life, who all of a sudden just disappears," end quote. So U.S. postal worker Coles last spoke with her mother on the afternoon of October 2nd, 2018, while she was shopping for baby supplies. Her mother, Karen Phillips, says, quote, "She was just so excited. She didn't even know what to get," end quote. Her mother said there were no signs that anything was wrong. A recently released police video timeline shows Kierra carrying groceries into her apartment building on the 8100 block of South Vernon. And then that evening, Detective Silvar said that surveillance video shows that Kierra left in her car with a man that police are now referring to as a person of interest. So Kierra was seen driving the car. They went to a 24-hour Walgreens at 8600 South Cottage Grove, and security cameras inside the store showed Kierra withdrawing hundreds of dollars from an ATM machine. So Kierra's mom said that this was very unusual, especially because it was like at 10:45 p.m. at night. Her mom says, quote, "I didn't understand why she would be taking $400 out because she is really cautious with spending," end quote. And so that was the last time on that video surveillance that Kierra was seen. So Chicago police say that the evidence then shows a man drove her car back to the neighborhood alone. He parked down the street. This was just before 11:45 p.m. that same night. And when he got out on the passenger side of the car. So Detective Silvar says on why the driver exited the passenger side of the car. He said, quote, "I can only speculate. It's not like you're opening a car door in traffic. My speculation is he's staging the seat," end quote. So perhaps the man was sliding the driver's seat forward by hand to make it look like Kierra had been driving. Police said the video then shows the man walking to another car parked nearby and driving away in his own vehicle. So Kierra's case is still officially listed as just a missing persons case as of this article. Detective Silvar has worked hundreds of homicide cases since 1998. Silvar reviewed the timeline of the video that night and said that he believes whatever happened to Kierra was over in less than an hour. He said, quote, "I think the last time we see Kierra, she is unfortunately not alive much long after that," end quote. However, Silvar emphasized that Kierra could be alive. He says, quote, "There's always a chance that she did go somewhere else," end quote. As for the person of interest, police say that he returned to Kierra's apartment alone the next morning and left with some items in his hand. So how would he get into her apartment unless he had some kind of keys, which meant that he possibly knew her? Silvar said, quote, "This person we're referring to is not a stranger. The person has accessed all the time. Is it unusual? No, but in the totality of what happened the night before, yeah, that is a big deal," end quote. So Chicago police have not named this person of interest, but Phillips says he is Josh Simmons, who is Kierra's boyfriend and the presumed father of the unborn child. NBC5 investigates, found no criminal history in his past. Kierra's mom reported her daughter missing the night after the ATM withdrawal and said that she was there with Simmons as police searched Kierra's apartment. She also said that Simmons told her that he hadn't seen Kierra. Her mom said, quote, "He said he had not seen her, but he had been talking to her, which I found out that was a lie," end quote. She goes on to say he gave us some conflicting accounts. She says he wasn't consistent on some of the statements, and then he didn't want to talk to us when interviewed by police. So Simmons soon moved out of state with the mother of some of his children, and he did not respond to a written request for comment for this article. Kierra's mom wants Simmons to come forward. She says, quote, "I want to say to him, I know you know something. You know what happened. You don't know the pain that I feel not knowing what is going on with my child. I wish you would come forward and tell us what really happened to her," end quote. So yeah, so I remember when all this, when they found all this video surveillance that came out, and they started reporting on that. So I think I have a more recent article that may have come out within the last year or so. Once again, it may take it a minute to come up. Paula says that is not good. Nope. All right, it's taking its time. It's taking its time as usual. Come on. Maybe if I close some of these tabs out, that might help a little bit. Maybe. Man, it's hot in here. All right, that did work. It's coming. It's coming up. There we go. All right, so this article is from September 2025. Kierra Coles, missing Chicago postal workers family still searching for answers. The family of Kierra Coles, a missing Chicago postal worker who vanished while pregnant in 2018. Once again, the cats are crazy. Is marking another painful milestone as Wednesday would have been her 33rd birthday. Coles was last seen on October 2nd, 2018 in the Southside Chatham neighborhood. In the morning, she is seen on surveillance video in her postal worker uniform despite a sick call into work that day. That night, video showed her leaving home with a person of interest before stopping at a nearby ATM and making 2 cash withdrawals. After that, she was never seen again, but the person of interest was. Authorities said videos show him returning in a vehicle to Cole's home the next morning, going into the building and leaving with unknown items. So I wonder if they found out what these unknown items were that he left with. He then drives away in his personal car that was parked on the block overnight. Despite years of investigation by Chicago police and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, no suspects have been named, no arrests have been made. Karen Phillips, who's once again Kierra's mother, says, quote, "They said they didn't have a motive," end quote. So I'm just going to interject my opinion here. So if it is true, I mean, it's true that she was pregnant and supposedly this Simmons, and I'm assuming this unnamed person of interest, also had another girlfriend at the time that was also pregnant at the time of that Kierra was pregnant. In my unprofessional opinion, that would be motive. Just my opinion. So Coles, Kierra's family describes her as someone who loved makeup, taking pictures, dancing. She loved her job at the Postal Service, and that she had been looking forward to becoming a mother. Her mother previously said, quote, "As the years go on, it gets harder and harder," end quote. She says, quote, "When I woke up that morning and still hadn't gotten a call from her, I knew that something was wrong." So Kierra was 26 years old and 3 months pregnant when she went missing. And then 6 months later, her due date came and went, and hard questions remain unanswered. So Mac Julian of the National Association of Letter Carriers previously said, quote, "Calling out sick and leaving for work that day in uniform is quite out of the ordinary. Was she the one who made that phone call? I didn't even think about that. We think there's more to the story," end quote. So apparently Kierra's family held a press conference, continuing to call for anyone with information to come forward. Says a $68,000 reward is still being offered for tips leading to an arrest and conviction. So I mean, I'm assuming that this Mac Julian, this I don't know if it's her boss, but anyway, he said the call was out of the ordinary. She was seen in her uniform, and he questions whether she even made that phone call. You would think that they might have let the family listen to the phone call and to see if they recognized if it was her voice or not. I mean, I don't know. Very interesting. I think that was all I had on her. All righty. Yep, I'm with you. Junior says, "I remember this case now. It is the boyfriend, in my opinion." Yeah, I have questions. Because they said that this person that was in the car with her and seen with her going into the Walgreens or wherever it was, that she withdrew all the hundreds of dollars of cash from the ATM, and then this person was seen after that. This person was seen, just him, driving back to the apartment, got out of the passenger seat of the car, and then went into the apartment and got some items and left in his car that was parked down the block. And then, like I said, if it's true that, she was pregnant, he was the father, and then he also had this other girlfriend that he had children with. and one on the way the same time that Kierra was pregnant. And then the family said that law enforcement told them they didn't have a motive. Like I said, in my opinion, that would be motive. I mean, if he's got two women are pregnant at the same time, and he just didn't want a deal or whatever, I don't know. That to me, that sounds like a pretty good motive to at least ask some questions. Just my opinion once again. All right, I think that is all. I think that's the last one I had. So we only haven't even been on here 2 hours. So Chris, are you still here? Because Chris had mentioned talking about the Tylenol unalivings. We can talk a little bit of. Thank you, Mustang. Absolutely. Yeah, that is true. UCC, an unindicted co-conspirator said, or the boyfriend's other girlfriend. That is possibility, because the guy that worked with the national with the postal service said that the phone call was weird. He's not even sure that it was Kierra. It could have been the girlfriend. That's why I was asking, did they let the family or somebody who knew Kierra listen to that phone call to verify whether it was her voice or not? Yes, Junior says this case got quite a bit of publicity. I've seen a couple of channels do shows on this case. Yeah, I think I've watched at least one, maybe two episodes of various shows on ID channel that have talked about the case, and it did get mainstream media attention as well, which is fantastic, because a lot of these missing persons cases don't get the mainstream attention. Well, I'm just going to say certain cases do. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you, Miss Farr. Gifted one Southern Gal True Crime membership. So we get to put the cow in the pasture. Let me wrangle up the cow. Hold on. Oh my goodness, I'm going the wrong way. There it is. Thank you so much, Miss Farr. As always, you are a rock star. We appreciate that so much. And you guys can let me know who got the membership. I can't see it on my side. Oh, an indicted co-conspirator got it. Excellent. Excellent. Congratulations. Welcome to the pasture, or the paddock, whichever one you want to call it. We call it pasture in these parts. Thank you once again to Miss Farr. And I've been saying this, I'm going to get better at doing members only videos. I think I'm going to start. I got to finish up, I think, one more video on the series I've been doing on the Boy Scout secret from here in Arkansas, just to close it out. And then I think I'm going to start, because we've been talking about all the because I live in Lonoke County here in Central Arkansas, and about all the corruption in Lonoke County. I may just start doing a series of everything that's gone on over the years here. That is quite interesting for members only videos. If just members, let me know if you'd be interested in that, because there's some very, very shady stuff that's going on. UCC said my pasture might get jealous once it changes back from being a lake. Oh no, I'm assuming that means you got a bunch of rain. Where are you at? If you don't mind saying, you don't have to say exactly, but in general. I should know this as much as I see you in chats, but I'm old. I can't remember things. Which we didn't get when like I said, when those storms came through Sunday, they were through quick, so we didn't get a whole lot of rain. As a matter of fact, I think we're still considered in drought here. Ah, gotcha. South of Memphis. So you're not that far from me. Then I've been to Memphis many times. Many times. Well, I haven't been there in a while. Probably wouldn't go there so much nowadays, but back in the day, back in the 90s, early 2000s, we went over there a lot. And me and my brother and baby sister-in-law and friends will go over there. We go to Bill Street. We go over there for concerts and wrestling events and things of that nature. But we haven't been there in years. The last time I was there was a few years ago when me and my baby and sister-in-law and friends went to the concert, the 90s mixtape tour with New Kids on the Block and Salt and Pepper and all them that came. And that's been a few years ago. All right. You're not alone. UCC said for years I thought Lone Oak rhymed with Okie. Yeah, there's a lot of people that call it Lone Okie. You know, it is Lone Oak, which is named after a lone. So Lone Oak came from Lone Oak, as in a low LOAN or no LONE oak OAK tree. So therefore, Lone Oak. Lone Oak turned into Lone Oak. That is the story behind the name of the town and the county. But yeah, don't feel bad. Most people that don't know, aren't familiar with it, call it Lone Okie. So don't feel bad. Oh goodness. All right, so sorry. I got to stop drinking out of these Sonic cups during the live streams because the straw is always. I know that's very irritating to y'all when I. Anyway, so Friday, once again, barring any unforeseen things that might come up. Yes, you're very correct. Mustang says Arkansas spells things weird. Absolutely. Even the way that Arkansas is spelled and the way it's pronounced. And a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, I think they're doing it on purpose, say Arkansas or Kansas instead of Arkansas. But yes, we do spell things weird around here. You are correct. But anyway, I was going to say Friday, barring any unforeseen things that might come up, and you never know with me and with my cell service, I'm probably going to do a live stream. And I was thinking about, because we've been talking about starting doing a series of live streams discussing different serial offenders, some of the lesser known ones, And a few weeks ago in a live stream, it was Chris and Josh brought up the Honolulu Strangler. And I was thinking that maybe Friday we could start with that one, make that the first video or first live stream in the series. And I'm going to try to get a hold of Josh. I haven't seen him tonight. And if Josh is not busy, since he's the one that brought it up, he and Chris, I might see if he might, if he's not busy, might want to join me to discuss the Honolulu Strangler. So we may do that Friday. We'll definitely do something Friday. If not that, it will just be whatever we can come up with. So let me know if that sounds good with you guys. I'll get in touch with Josh. I'll email him and see what he's got going on. So UCC says I grew up near Bonnie ID. Is that Louisiana? I've never heard of Bonnie ID, Louisiana. And I've been to Louisiana a few times. Whereabouts in Louisiana? What part of Louisiana is that? Mustang says, sounds good. Eventually, I'm covering SKers on my channel. Excellent. Mustang, you're welcome to come up here with me anytime you got something, a case you want to discuss. Anybody's welcome, actually. Bonnie ID. I'm still trying to think that I've never heard of Bonnie ID, Louisiana. Anyway, all right. Does anybody have any last questions, comments, thoughts? Okay, so UCC says very northeast near Oak Grove. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. I should know this. I'm Irish, so Irish heritage. But happy early St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Don't celebrate too much, or do. That's up to you. I forgot what I was saying. You're very welcome, Mustang. So if nobody's got anything else, we'll get out of here for the night. Like I said, I'll get in touch with Josh, and if he doesn't have anything going on and is willing, we'll see what we can do Friday. Thank you, Junior. Absolutely. Always love having Junior here. He's yawning. It's way past Junior's bedtime. All right, so until then, and I do have, I've already got one video uploaded or scheduled. It's uploaded. It will be available Wednesday at around 9 a.m. Central Time, an unsolved case. And then I'll try to get another, since we're doing should be doing a live stream Friday. I'll schedule another video to upload probably on Saturday, and then I'll do my best to get a members only video done and upload it probably on Sunday. So until then, yeah, Mustang says, happy St. Patrick's Day. Stay safe, everyone. Good night, all. Absolutely. Thank you once again, Miss Farr, for gifting the membership. Thank you, Southern Gal. Thank you, mods and chat. Sleep well. Stay safe, all. Absolutely. So until then, have a good rest of your week. I'm multitasking once again. Trying to find my outro. There it is. Have a good rest of your week. Be safe. Be kind. Just be a good human. Take care of each other. And I love you guys. And I will hopefully see you guys Friday.